Please call our trouble hotline at 573-893-7477. Mark 4 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 3 minutes until airtime on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Mark 3 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime. Stations, if you encounter any technical issues related to this live show broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 573-893-7477. Mark 2 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studio producers, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Your next time cue will come with 1 minute until airtime for today's live show broadcast on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Stations, we are coming up on 1 minute until airtime. 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2, Mark. 1 minute, stations. 1 minute until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studios, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime, on my mark. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds. Have fun.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Georgia Southern Sports Network. On the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield, presented by Morris Bank, this is Hail Southern Live.
Glory to God and a bunch of great kids. It's college football, not the best thing on earth.
Live at Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Hot wings, cold beer, and good times. Coming up, your all-access pass into Georgia Southern athletics, including a visit with head football coach Clay Helton.
Georgia Southern is championships. That's what this place was founded on. And the expectation and the standard each and every year is to compete and win championships.
Hail Southern Live is brought to you by Morris Bank. Bleed blue, bank blue. Morris Bank, member FDIC. The Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. And by Savannah Hilton Head International Airport and the Savannah Airport Commission. Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now let's head live inside Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Here's the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Eagle Nation, it is great to see you again. Back one more time at Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro for Hail Southern Live, presented each week by Morris Bank on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield. We've got a lot to talk about over the next 60 minutes. It's a big one at Paulson this Saturday night, 7 p.m. Georgia Southern against Coastal in the Sun Belt opener. Get your tickets now. The effort is to pack Paulson Stadium with 25,000 plus. About 1,500 tickets or so are still remaining, but you can get yours 1-800-GSU-WINS or by visiting gseagles.com. Great day to be an Eagle last Saturday in Muncie, a dominant 40-3 win at Ball State. Biggest road victory in 9 years. Georgia Southern is 3-1 to finish up non-conference play. We'll get Clay Helton. Khaleb Hood will be up as well a little bit later on, but we're going to talk Eagle baseball for about 10 minutes. Fall World Series coming up. Start of fall practice is next week. The guy next to me needs no introduction. About to enter year 25 leading Georgia Southern baseball. Give it up for head coach Rodney Hennon. Almost as big of a round of applause as Coach Helton. Almost.
Well, hey, it's great to be here. It's great to be an Eagle. And like Danny said, we got a big week. I know we're excited. We got a big group of recruits coming in, so we need to pack Paulson and make it a great weekend.
It's going to be festive with family weekend, with salute to service. It's on the NFL Network. First time they've ever been down here. 7 o'clock kick. We're on at 5 with the Cutwater Spirits tailgate show. And it's so much of a recruiting thing for football. But like you just mentioned, all the other sports are going to show off Statesboro and what a football experience is like to help their own recruiting as well.
Yeah, I mean, Eagle Nation showing up. Obviously, it's big for our football team to have a big crowd and for everybody to go crazy in Paulson, but it's always a big weekend for us and the other sports like you mentioned. The last home game, we had a great weekend. Actually got a few commitments out of that weekend, which was nice, and another big group coming in on Saturday. And I tell you, having the new Tippins facility right there as well just adds to the atmosphere on game day, and so we're excited about another big weekend.
You know, I'm glad you brought up the Tippins facility because it's been oohed and awed at by watching the football team practice there. But as has been said a number of times, every sport will be able to benefit from that. In terms of baseball and softball, you're going to get the cages, the drop-down net. You're going to have a chance to practice in there when the weather's not so good during the spring.
No, I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, we have no excuses now not to be able to get our work in. The weather's never going to prevent us from doing what we need to do to get better as a team. And again, talking about the recruiting weekends, we're using that area to feed our recruits before we go into the ball game. And like I said, just really adds to an already great atmosphere.
Now, Tyler Owens posted the picture earlier today, new gloves in, so that way you can tell that practice is right around the corner. But I know how baseball is. You guys play more games than anybody else. It's almost like there's not really an off season, but I know that you're preparing for the fall and then the spring of 24.
Yeah, we've been in our individual period up until this point, and next Monday we'll start the first day of our 45-day window where we can have our actual team practice, where we'll start full inter squads. 2 fall dates that were just released. October 28th, we'll return a trip to USC Upstate in Spartanburg this year, and then November 4th we'll have a scrimmage here with Wofford.
That's a rule that the NCAA passed a couple of years ago, allowing teams to have up to 2 fall scrimmages. It's so far from the start of the actual season, but when you're trying to develop, how valuable are dates like that to see what you have and what you need to do?
Well, it's always good to compete against somebody else and kind of see where you stack up. And when you're out there all fall just going at it against one another, kind of gives you a little bit of a gauge going into the spring. And it's always good to see how your players react, against another quality opponent.
The one thing about a baseball roster, you usually have a bunch coming back, but you also usually have a bunch that's new. You have known commodities that are going to be a part of the 24 roster. Jarrett Brown is going to have his senior year. I think he had an outstanding 23. Looking for even bigger things next year. Sammy Blancato is a bona fide team leader. And then with Ty Fisher, Ben Johnson, Jalen Payton, and Thomas Higgins are coming back off of injury. Jake Martin as well. But what about some of the new blood that we'll be able to watch during the spring and the fall? Who can you tell us about the new guys?
Well, I'm really excited about getting it cranked up on Monday. We feel like athletically we're in as good a position as we've been in several years. Now, obviously, we'll find out a lot more when we start competing in scrimmages. But we got a lot of versatile guys that can move around. I think a little more team speed than what we've had the last couple of years. And looking forward to seeing how guys compete, beginning next week. If you look at the roster right now, literally half of the roster are new players.
Yeah.
A little more experience on the pitching staff, some of those names that you just mentioned, but certainly some guys that will be able to contribute right away and make a big difference this spring.
One guy I had a chance to watch last week for the first time, and one that I think a lot of people are going to fall in love with pretty quickly. Porter Bursma's got a great arm.
Yeah, Porter is a very talented young man, freshman from Blessed Trinity High School, coming in. He's been up to 96 miles an hour, in workouts. It's elite spin on the breaking ball, and certainly he has a bright future.
I know you like talking about elite spin and all that and all the analytics and stuff.
I got to talk the lingo nowadays, I guess.
Big that you have been around so long, I've got to ask you a football question because you got here summer of '99, correct? So you would have been here for those two national championships under Paul. You've seen a lot of games at Paulson Stadium. What's your favorite moment, football-wise, since you got here?
Oh, wow. I guess that first year was really exciting for me here because obviously they were on a heck of a run then. And at the time, J.R. Revere was a two-way player.
Right.
He was playing baseball for us in the spring and also playing football, obviously AP back in those days. So I really remember those home playoff games back, when we were FCS and those days, and remember actually going up to Chattanooga and being there for the national championship game. So, my first year here, that kind of sticks out to me.
You're in a working capacity when you're recruiting, trying to get guys for the near future of your program. But when you go to other sporting events on campus, or really other sporting events, period, how do you allow yourself to be a fan? Or do you get a chance to be a fan?
Well, growing up in Georgia, of course, I love football. Played high school football, so I've always been a college football fan, really my whole life. But I tell you, look at what our fall sports are doing right now. I mean, we're having a great fall.
Yeah.
I've been able to get to a couple of volleyball matches, and I know Coach Willis and the young ladies there have gotten it going, and got to take in the women's soccer game against Georgia a few weeks ago. But I think the special thing about our department, we all support one another.
Yep.
And that's really cool to be a part of that. We've got a great group of coaches, and it's great to see our fall programs really get us off to a good start.
It's a perfect time to bring up that while the Anthony B. Tippins facility has opened, the construction for the Convocation Center, Jack and Ruth Ann Hill Convocation Center, is going to be starting very soon, but also the baseball project at J.I. Clements Stadium. Fundraising has been ongoing for that. Still need a little bit more to get that project off the ground. The renderings look amazing. It is going to create an atmosphere, not just in this state, but in the country like none other. But what would you say as the head coach of this program, what does this mean for being able to build towards the future?
Well, it's a big step for our program. We're in what I feel like is a top 5 baseball conference in the country right now in the Sun Belt, and it's going to set us up facility-wise to be right up near the top of our league. And I know I'm a little bit biased, but I think when you look at what we're doing with the renovations and combine that with what is already a great college baseball environment at JI, I feel like we'll have the best combination of facility and atmosphere in the state of Georgia, and one of the best in the Southeast. And some cool features for our fans that I think Eagle Nation is going to be really excited about. But we spoke about the Tippins facility, having the pitching lab in the facility, 3 indoor tunnels from a player development standpoint. It's going to really be put us where we need to be as a program.
Look, I know that the renderings show those tailgate suites that are going to be located near the third base dugout. How are you going to resist the urge to not go eat tailgate while you're trying to coach your boys?
Oh, man. Well, that's what college baseball is all about. Smoke coming up in the air from the grills, the smell. Man, it's going to be awesome, and we're all really excited about it.
Rodney, appreciate you being here tonight. Thanks you for 24 great years. Best of luck in year 25.
Thanks, Danny. Hail Southern.
That's head coach Rodney Hennon from Georgia Southern Baseball. Fall practice begins on Monday. Eagles football comes up next with Clay Helton when Hail Southern Live continues from Wild Wing after this on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Don't let an injury keep you on the sidelines. So go where the pros go. Optum Orthopedics. They're the official orthopedics and team physicians for Georgia Southern Athletics. Thanks to Optum, our Eagles get the best care on and off the field. The good news is that Optum is here for you too. Located in our community, Optum is the leader in advanced orthopedic care throughout the Southeast. Like the Eagles, you deserve the freedom to soar. With Optum's fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, you will. Your team, your community, your freedom. Optum Orthopedics, they're here for you.
It's football time, which turns Sunday and Thursday into the best days of the week. Well, they just got better, because now through October 29th, Keno has 30% higher payouts during bonus hours. Win $500, it becomes $650. The bonus hours are Sunday 1 to 3 p.m. and Thursday 6 to 8 p.m. So play Keno online and anywhere Keno is sold and get 30% higher payouts during bonus hours. Sundays 1 to 3 p.m. and Thursdays 6 to 8 p.m. Only from the Georgia Lottery. Play responsibly.
Did you know that Yancey Rents is a Georgia-owned rental company serving Georgia since 1914? Yancey Rents has excavators, dozers, backhoe loaders, small dump trucks, water trucks, concrete saws, light towers, scissor lifts, and so much more. We've got a huge selection of equipment ready to be rented today. Call 844-YNC-RENT or check us out at yanceyrents.com. With 16 locations around the state and a new expanded lineup of equipment ready to be rented right now, Yancey Rents wants to be your preferred rental supplier in Georgia.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Get your tickets now for Family Weekend as the Eagles welcome Coastal Carolina to Paulson Stadium on September 30th at 7 p.m. for Salute to Service to start Sun Belt Conference play. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets for more info. Let's pack Paulson and watch the blue and white inside the prettiest little stadium in America. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff on September 30th against Coastal Carolina. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or gseagles.com/tickets. Eagle Nation, tune in to Inside Georgia Southern Football each Monday, 11 a.m. on ESPN Plus, and watch locally on WJCL Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Our weekly 30-minute dive into Eagle football features head coach Clay Helton looking back at the week before and previewing the week ahead. It's football season, and your inside look is each Monday, 11 a.m. on ESPN Plus and Saturdays at 11:30 on WJCL. Inside Georgia Southern Football with head coach Clay Helton. Don't miss it.
The passion.
He's going to take it to the house. Dinner's cooking. Touchdown.
The fury.
Getting blitzed. Down he goes.
The speed.
40, there he goes. Down the sideline.
The Western College Football.
For the end zone. Got it for 6 points. You cannot hitch the wagon. Put the ponies in the barn. Back to the end zone. 30, 20.
This is the College Football Blitz. Listen all season long on College Sports Now on the Varsity Network.
College Sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network, now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
Gun snap. Eagles surround him. Samanza throwing backside and is intercepted in the end zone. There's your turnover, Shamor Bartholomew. He has had a ball game, add one to the ledger. He comes up with his 10th career pick, and the Eagles start at the 20 after the touchback.
Part of a superlative effort for Georgia Southern last Saturday in Muncie. Eagles defeat Ball State 40-3 to finish up non-conference play 3-1 as Hail Southern Live continues from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield. A reminder that this show is brought to you by the Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. This is the final day of the Wings Up Eagle Nation giveaway. You can sign up until midnight. Go to flysav.com/GS giveaway. That's 2 round-trip tickets to the Texas State game on November the 4th. We'll also cover your travel to the hotel and to the game. 2 round-trip airfare from Savannah to San Antonio. Watch the Eagles against the Bobcats on November the 4th. Sign up until midnight tonight. flysav.com/GS giveaway. Talking Eagle football the rest of the show. Please welcome in the big horse, head coach Clay Helton.
Thanks, guys.
Well, went to Muncie last Saturday to pass a test, and you boys decided to ace the test. That was about as complete a performance as I think you could ask for.
Yeah, really proud of the boys, you know, to be able to walk in after, you know, an emotional loss at Wisconsin, one that, you know, we didn't feel like we brought our A game for 60 minutes. The challenge was to really play all 3 phases and have a complete game as a team and have a complete game for 4 quarters. And that's what they did. They rose to that challenge, and they rose to the environment. You go to Wisconsin, which is an electric environment, to one that's, you know, not as big a venue, not as big a crowd, and you got to bring your own energy.
Right.
And they did. They celebrated each other. They celebrated each play as it went along, and they played for each other. And it was neat to see. That was kind of our last opportunity, dress rehearsal before conference, and they really did a nice job of preparing for it.
It was a very similar script to that Citadel game. Opening drive touchdown, force the 3 and out, next drive touchdown. You're up 14-0 before they know what hit them.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of been our MO right now, and especially defensively. I was really proud in that game. Again, another third down efficiency, great third down efficiency performance by our defense, plus 2 takeaways in that. And all of a sudden you look up and you're 2, 3, 4 scores ahead. And that's what we hoped this defense was going to bring us. A second cycle of recruiting and personnel has helped us. And now under Brandon Bailey and this new personnel that really fits his system, they're starting to make strides defensively.
Hang on one second. There we go. Live radio. So Brandon Bailey is usually a popular guy just for the fact that he is from this area, went to school here, graduated from here, was a student assistant here. But someone on your staff that deserves a lot more credit is Ryan Smith. I know we don't talk about him on these broadcasts a ton, but he and Andrew Bevel both, the roster that they have helped put together, you can really see the amount of depth, the size, the speed that you've developed and found over the last calendar year or so.
Yeah, Ryan as our general manager and Andrew as our director of player personnel. I mean, they spend day in, day out evaluating, recruiting, organizing, just do a phenomenal job, and they've put this roster together that has propelled us. You see the difference of where we were a year ago at this time. Still same record, but feels a lot different. You know, that you feel like a complete team. You feel like a deeper team.
Yeah.
I mean, defensively, we didn't have a guy over 40 snaps last game. I think it was 44 was the highest. And to be able to play a deeper level of football on all sides and all phases, man, it really helps. So credit to Ryan and Andrew. 2 of the best in the country, in my mind, have been from Duke, North Carolina, all the way to USC. We stole Ryan Smith, and then to have Andrew Bevel here, just ecstatic to have both those guys.
To get the roster to a point where it is currently as deep as it is, how much more does that help you in terms of how you prepare throughout the week?
Well, you can withstand injury. You know, all of a sudden, Bo goes down, and Keaton goes down, and you still got Evan Lester who walks in there and scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
And so you look at the 2-3 deep at wideout. You look at all of a sudden, a lot of people couldn't survive a Jalen White going down.
Right.
You put O.J. Arnold in and David and Terrence, and they go to work there. You have a center go down and Chandler Strong. Okay, that's fine. Move Pichon in. Move Brian Miller down. So we're a deeper football team that allows us to be fresher, allows us to play faster, and allows us to send the same quality of personnel at you in waves.
And we talked about that with Brian this morning at the press conference after Chandler got hurt in the fourth quarter. It was no big deal because Pichon's been practicing at center. Brian was playing guard at the beginning of last year before he got hurt, and then that's how Pichon got to play in the first place. And, oh, by the way, all of that feeds into Bryson Broadway making his debut, and how awesome it was for him to not only be on the trip, but to finally get some live action as an Eagle.
Yeah, that was an emotional time, and thank you to the NCAA and really listening to his appeal and seeing his whole story and being able to grant him access to playing. I've always said the right thing ain't always easy, but it's always right. Yeah. And I'm so glad that they did the right thing for that young man. And I don't think there was not very many dry eyes in my office when we were able to tell him that he was eligible.
You mentioned earlier today that Bo was probably going to be out this week. You did talk about that. But also last week, not having Jalen, not having JJ, but to still put up 530 yards and 40 points on the road. That had to be an impressive thing.
Yeah, you lose your starting running back and your starting tight end. Both were ultra productive in the first 3 games, and you really have to go the next man up. And you look at what Keaton did, came in with a big touchdown. Evan Lester, OJ walks out there and has 90 yards. I mean, to have 167 yards rushing to complement, what Davis did in the passing game, that was the success on offense that we needed, was a little bit more balance, and to be able to, that running game is a quarterback's best friend. And on the other side, to hold a good running team to 37 yards rushing, I didn't expect that going in, but man, I'll take it. That was a great job. We said the big men were going to win that game, and the offensive line and defensive line took that challenge and ran with it.
I know it's only Monday. You guys haven't started your full prep for Coastal Carolina yet on the field, but could you give us a health update about where you could be going into the week?
Yeah, I think we're 50-50 with a lot of guys. The one guy I don't think we'll have, just being honest, is Bo.
Okay.
I think it'll be a couple weeks. He's got a sprained MCL. I think everybody else is going to be closer to the end of the week. We've got some guys that'll start practicing. I think Jalen will start introducing him back to practice. JJ will practice tomorrow. We'll see where they're at. Chandler will probably see where he's at Wednesday, and hold him, give him another extra day. But you got probably about 4 or 5 guys that are right at about 50-50. I think the only one that's probably out will be Bo.
It figures to be a sight to see Saturday at Paulson Stadium. It is family weekend. It is salute to service, Food Line Sacks to give back. The push for $25,735 plus a few. There's only about 1,500 tickets remaining, so do call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Or let's do this. If you need a ticket and you're in the house, come see me. I got tickets up here. Do it during the break, but come see me at some point during any one of the commercials. We got tickets for you. Let's pack out Paulson, and let's make it very, very difficult for those Chanticleers on Saturday night. Coach Helton comes back with more as Hail Southern Live continues from Wild Wing after this, powered by Learfield.
Yellowwood knows that a 5-star backyard is the place to make lasting memories, like roasting marshmallows on a cool fall night. That's it. Turn it nice and slow. Get it toasted all... Oh, no, it's on fire. Oh, you want it on fire. Okay, that's a choice, I guess. Crunchy. For 5-star backyards and the most memorable experiences, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have that yellow tag, you don't want it.
Your cargo transportation choice in Savannah and the Southeast. For freight management, consolidation, warehousing, and more, including flexible and responsive drayage solutions. Your success is our final destination. Savannah Logistics Group.
a logistics company that strives to deliver the best drivers, employees, and customer experience through our core values of empowerment, innovation, and consistency. Savannah Logistics Group, a proud supporter of Georgia Southern Athletics.
On game day, success starts with a great game plan. No matter if you're at home or on the road, greatness starts here with the Ford F-150 truck. Delivering a rare combination of power and smart technology like the available class exclusive Pro Power onboard, Ford F-150 helps make great things possible. See your local Ford dealer and score a great offer on F-150. See owner's manual for important operating instructions. Class is full-size pickups over 8,500 pounds. GVWR.
What's up, fans? This is Roddy Jones, co-host of College Sports Now. We're breaking down all the action from around the country weekly with new episodes dropping 4 days a week during the football season. We'll look beyond the box score and keep our finger on the pulse of college football from September all the way to the national championship game in January, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Listen all season long on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you love to get your podcast. And while you're at it, be sure to give us a follow along on Twitter @CSNowTweets.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletic season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded in June 2024 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Hey Eagle fans, this is Jared Benko. Renew your basketball season tickets today to watch Charlie Henry's first season leading the Eagles. Prices start at $100 for general admission and $150 for upper reserve. Reserve yours by calling 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Parking passes this season are also available to Earl Russell Fund donors for $100. Experience Georgia Southern basketball in its final full season at Hanner Fieldhouse. Renew your season tickets today. 1-800-GSU-WINS or gseagles.com/tickets.
Powered by Learfield. Welcome back to Hale's Southern Live, presented by Morris Bank. Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now, let's return live to Wild Wing Cafe. Once again, here's the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Back with more Hale Southern Live from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro, presented each week by Morris Bank. Bleed Blue, Bank Blue. Morris Bank, member FDIC. Outstanding crowd on hand tonight here at Wild Wing as we celebrate the 40-3 win over Ball State and preview those Coastal Carolina Chanticleers coming up on Saturday at 7 p.m. I thought I saw the Sykeses in here. Stacy Sykes, are you over there along with wife Shannon? It's his birthday today and it's Shannon's birthday tomorrow. Everybody give them a round of applause. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. Appreciate you very much. Now, if we can get those two and about 25,000 more, we have a chance to set an attendance record. I know that's been the push for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, 25,735 plus one. Make me very happy. But no, what a great opportunity. You know, I remember sitting down with Jared, Leonard Bevel, Chris Davis, Dr. Marrero, and this vision to be able to build a national product and to bring something truly special back to Statesboro, to a special community that loves this university and loves its teams. And here we are, and credit to Jared and his staff. You look up and there's the NFL Network coming to campus. Here you are on national TV, a chance to make history with this unbelievable sellout crowd, a 7 o'clock national performance. And not only that, to be able to salute our servicemen and women, to be able to have family weekend, have all our parents. This is one of those special days, you know, and our kids feel that. And the power of Paulson is going to be on display for the entire nation. They're going to see why Statesboro, Georgia is so special. And it gives me goosebumps right now just thinking about the opportunity. And you get to play the Eastern Conference champ from last year right off the bat in Conference Game 1. What more could you want? College football is a beautiful thing. Come out and see it. Come out and be a part of us. I know that place is going to be full on Saturday.
There have been so many steps in the process of trying to build that national brand. The Power 5 win, the Top 25 win, the app win, getting back to a bowl game, opening the Tippins facility, starting 3-1 again. But you've got true momentum going into the start of Sun Belt play, NFL Network coming to Statesboro for the first time ever, facing Coastal. As you mentioned, the East champion, played in last year's conference title game. this would really show the country, especially the people in this restaurant tonight and really all over Eagle Nation, that this team and this program is for real.
Yeah, you know, I said it today in the press conference. This team is one of the more mature teams that I've ever been around.
Absolutely.
You know, to be able to watch them grow within these first 4 games, to have a big Citadel win and to back that up with a UAB win. It's a disappointing loss. You come back and have your best and most complete game of the year. Now our next step in that maturity is to keep that consistency of play with all 3 phases against, you know, arguably one of the best teams in our league over the last couple of years, with Grayson McCall coming back in to Statesboro. It's a unique challenge and a unique opportunity, but as they say, pressure is a privilege.
Yeah.
And we get the honor to have that privilege of stepping in the fire and going to compete.
There were quite a few firsts on Saturday. I'm going to list a couple of them. You heard the interception from Shamar Bartholomew a little bit earlier. He had 9 during his time in Northwestern State. That was his first as an Eagle. Elijah Fall, Mark Stampley come up with their first career sacks. Derwin Burgess had his 100th career reception. And a guy we're going to hear from in a little bit, Khaleb Hood, over 2,000 career receiving yards. What a career he has had.
Yeah, you know, and that's the story of our football team right now, is the strength in our numbers. And together you look up and you have 4 different guys catch touchdown passes, 2 different guys get turnovers, 4 sacks from 4 different people. And then you got the stars, and you got a Khaleb Hood. I mean, how much can you say about the guy? You know, getting ready to graduate this semester, have that degree in hand, and leave as the all-time reception leader, all-time receiving yards. He continues to build on that. To have Derwin Burgess, how about him with 100 catches?
Yeah.
You know, hit the century mark this past game. I'm just so proud for our kids, and I've always told them, I said, you know what, individual success is a byproduct of the team's success. And as this team grows and has success, guess what? The accolades come for the individuals, and Khaleb is one of those that is benefiting from the team's success.
We talked about his 21-yard touchdown catch earlier today on Inside Georgia Southern Football. I think I've seen the highlight about 100 times. Just not the fact that it was such a great play, but how he and Derwin just make the amazing look routine.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Khaleb gets so few one-on-one opportunities, and when you saw the Mike Backer having to run with him, you were like, "Oh my goodness!" I mean, I even went back to being a 6th grader for a second. I saw him running with the Mike Backer. I said, "All right, Davis, here you go. Let's get this ball up and down," and just absolutely threw what we call a grade 2 ball, which is right over the linebacker, falling right in before the safety can make the play. Just a tremendous throw and catch by those 2 kids.
It's going to be very, very special on Saturday with the amount of people that are going to be there, all that we're celebrating. And one of the things that you have said a couple of times to fans that are either going to be there or that are on the verge of being there, if you've got any kind of GATA in your heart, you're going to show up at Paulson Stadium on Saturday night at 7 p.m.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, this is those opportunities to come see what I think is going to be a really special team this year. This team, the maturity of this team, what they mean to each other, how they play for each other, how they eliminate distractions from around them. They just worry about doing their job. And, you know, if you're in Savannah, Georgia, you're in Macon, Georgia, you're in Atlanta, Georgia, I challenge you to get your butt in the car and get down here to Statesboro and have that GATA in your heart and let's go make history, and let's go win the biggest game of the year to date right now. We'll go 1-0 on the week in our first conference, starting fast in conference play.
You've got a couple of options, 1-800-GSU-WINS, gseagles.com/tickets, or come see me up here if you have them. If you don't, I've got tickets. Come grab some while they last. About 25 more minutes left in this week's edition. We come back from this timeout. Khaleb Hood comes up to talk about setting another record last weekend up at Ball State. This is Hail Southern Live from Wild Wing Cafe on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Eagle Nation, this is William Martin from Southern Exchange Company. We're proud to always bring you the best selection of Georgia Southern gear for game day and every day. Make sure to stop by and visit us at our store across from campus on Chandler Road or online at southernexchangecompany.com. Follow Southern Exchange on social media at SXC Statesboro for the latest gear in stock. Southern Exchange Company, the official merchandiser of Georgia Southern Athletics.
It's game day. What do you take to the tailgate? A flat screen TV? Take it to the tailgate. Your wife's favorite blender? The DJ sound system? With a Ford F-150 truck, you can take it all. With available Pro Power onboard that acts like a mobile generator, you can use F-150 to take your tailgate to the next level. See your local Ford dealer and score a great offer on F-150. See owner's manual for important operating instructions.
Don't let an injury keep you on the sidelines. So go where the pros go. Optum Orthopedics. They're the official orthopedics and team physicians for Georgia Southern Athletics. Thanks to Optum, our Eagles get the best care on and off the field. The good news is that Optum is here for you too. Located in our community, Optum is the leader in advanced orthopedic care throughout the Southeast. Like the Eagles, you deserve the freedom to soar. With Optum's fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, you will. Your team, your community, your freedom. Optum Orthopedics, they're here for you.
It's a Thursday night blue out at Paulson Stadium as your Georgia Southern Eagles play host to the Georgia State Panthers at 7:30 p.m. on October 26th. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Watch the blue and white inside the prettiest little stadium in America. It's the first ever Thursday night matchup between the Eagles and the Panthers. October 26th, 7:30 kickoff. Visit gseagles.com/tickets to get yours or call 1-800-GSU-WINS.
Hi, this is former quarterback Kyle Van Treese. Name, image, and likeness, or NIL in college sports is here to stay. We have the opportunity to be one of the leaders in our conference and in the group of five. To keep our championship standard and stay ahead of the rest, we must keep our best players and recruit the best as well. Thanks to the new Eagle Nation Collective, we're in a great position to do just that, but we can't do it without your support. Please help by becoming a member of the Eagle Nation Collective today. Sign up online at eaglenationnil.com and receive exclusive access to our student athletes that you can't get anywhere else. Join the Eagle Nation Collective at eaglenationnil.com.
Hey Eagle fans, this is Jared Benko. Renew your basketball season tickets today to watch Charlie Henry's first season leading the Eagles. Prices start at $100 for general admission and $150 for upper reserve. Reserve yours by calling 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Parking passes this season are also available to Eark Russell Fund donors for $100. Experience Georgia Southern basketball in its final full season at Hanner Fieldhouse. Renew your season tickets today. 1-800-GSU-WINS or gseagles.com/tickets.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded in June 2024 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Across the tackles to the left, bounces out the formation. Brin the snap, he pumps. Brin looks down the seam, has Hood, goes up. He makes an awesome catch in the back of the end zone. Wings up, Eagle Nation. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. Had a little bit of that do-it fluid on 3rd down and 10. Eagles lead 29-0.
Career touchdown number 7 as part of a 7-catch, 107-yard effort for number 7 as Hail Southern Live continues from Wild Wing Cafe. The all-time leading receiver in the history of Georgia Southern football with more than 2,000 career yards. Give it up for him because he deserves it. 5th-year senior Khaleb Hood.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
5 years. Where does it go? I feel like I should say that to Brian Miller because it's been 7, but with you, 5 feels like just like long enough.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing, but I could say at Georgia Southern 5 years is feel like about 2 minutes.
Yeah,
real talk.
But to go from what it was when you got here to now, that's a pretty drastic change. Now we're talking to you as the leading receiver in the history of the school. That's an amazing thought.
I can say it's just something I prayed for, actually.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I got here, triple option, having to be at Wildcat, with Shy.
Still remember
and all
that.
them boys. Yeah, like, you know, it's fast, but like it's a blessing to just have like to see the change with Georgia Southern and all, like with Coach Helton and the new staff coming in. It's a blessing.
You played in 55 games, 25 starts, 178 career catches. You had the 87 catch campaign last year. I know what your goals are for this year, both individually and for this team. But to see what's been built since Coach Helton got here, do you continually have to just wipe your eyes, act like you're awake when you walk into the Anthony B. Tippett's facility and realize, okay, we have this now when we never talked about this when I first got here?
I can say at first, like, it was just like, dang, like, we really got it indoor now. Like, no more practices in the rack. But it's like when you're around guys like Coach Helton, Coach Ellis, and guys like Coach Bailey, it's like those guys are movers. They're shakers. Like, they know how to get things done. And so it's like, now it's like I'm not really surprised about anything.
When you take the field as part of this offense, you look back and you see that 5's throwing you the ball. But you look at 2 next to you, 4 on the other side. You got a bevy of tight ends. You got all these running backs. Just to think about all the weapons that are on this offense, and you're still able to put up the numbers that you do and draw the attention that you do, what more does it mean?
I can really say just because of the guys like Durham Burgess and AQ and Jalen White, and then having a quarterback like Davis Brin and the O-line that just does their thing, like, it kind of like makes it easier for me and for DB and for AQ and Jay White to get the touches and be able to let their light shine on the field, simply because, like, you got to guard all of us, you know.
To be able to catch the ball from Davis now, last year it's Kyle, as this offense has evolved. Just to think that about 80% of the time you used to be a blocker. You had a year with 9 catches when you first got here, and now to think that you had a game with 10 catches since that happened, that's just amazing.
It's a blessing. It's really it's a great feeling, you know, to play with guys like Kyle, who always like wants to push you to be better, and now you have a guy like Davis who does the same thing, and it's really just, I love it. You know, it's something that it's just heartfelt. Like, when you practice and like you want to go harder in practice, you want to go harder in the game, just for guys, you know, just because everybody like shows a genuine love for the game.
You've taken to Paulson Stadium a lot in your time here, but as a player on game day at Paulson, when you look around and see all the people that you do and feel what you feel, how would you describe that?
Family. Like, that's the first thing that just came to my mind, like seeing the crowd and hearing like Georgia Southern, like it excites me. You know, it makes me want to not just make plays for my teammates, the guys next to me, but as well make plays for the people that's like cheering for us, the people that's like helping us out and like investing in us. Like, it just makes me want to do more.
All right, I want to try something here. I want all you guys in the audience to be ready. I want you to say Georgia as loud as you can. I know y'all going to respond with Southern. We're going to try this. Caleb, go ahead.
Georgia. Georgia. Georgia.
That's good stuff, man. The guys, thank y'all very much. I appreciate that.
Real love.
That's real love.
Yeah.
And if you had to describe what it's like to be here, something as small as that, that's what it means to be an Eagle Nation.
Yeah, it's love. Like, it's nothing really more genuine than that. You know, it's nothing more pure than just having people that really support you, really support the blue and white.
There's going to be about 25,000 or so that are going to be supporting you guys on Saturday. It's family weekend. You've got 7 siblings. You're the second oldest. It's salute to service. You went to Air Force Prep before you got here. So this has to be even more special for you going into a situation like this.
I can say it. Man, you know, it just makes me smile. Like, it's not really too much I can really say. It just makes me smile just to see the support. You know, just seeing like every year Georgia Southern just taking it off, you know, and like we just gotta keep going at the end of the day.
You guys have had battles against Coastal Carolina since you got here. 2019, the rain-soaked triple overtime game, the Nestor Bowl, I believe is what it ended up being called. 2020 being tied in the fourth quarter. Last year leading in the fourth quarter with a hurricane basically affecting the travel, not coming up until the day of. Coastal came into this league looking for rivals. They've definitely found one in Statesboro. But as a player, what does this matchup mean to this team?
You know, it's, in my eyes, I can really say for everybody on the team, it's just another game. You know, it's somebody, as I always tell the guys and, like, my teammates, I always tell them, like, at the end of the day, like, they're trying to take our food, you know, so don't let them take our food at the end of the day. They just next up.
You're wearing your Eagle Nation collective polo. We talked about that with Kadri. We've talked about that with Davis as well. What Lenny and Kyle and so many people as part of the founding members have done to support student athletes, in what ways specifically has that impacted you?
I can say personally, like, really I want to give a shout out to Lenny B and Kyle, simply because, like, without the Eagle Collective, it's hard, you know, like being a student athlete where, like, you really don't have the time to go and work, you know, to go and, like, really make money. And so sometimes your little brothers or your little siblings might want these things, but you can't give it to them. You know, sometimes you might want something special, you know, and you really can't do it. But now that you have guys, like, really invested into us as players, like, now you don't really have to worry about the outside of having money, because, you know, like, in the end of the day, like, money kind of, like, you got to have money to rule. You got to have money to work. You got to have money to do certain things, you know? And so, like, when you don't have to worry about it, I feel like you don't really, that's another thing that's, like, not on your plate. So now you can even focus more on football, you know, not really worried about what you're going to do here or what you're going to do there, you know?
I know that there's still a lot to do for you and this team in this season. This is just 4 games into what is hopefully going to be a season that y'all have dreamed about and everybody in this room is dreaming about. But as a fifth-year guy, how much more does everything you do mean this year, considering that it's the last time you're going to do it?
To be honest with you, football is a violent game, you know. So, like, I always thank God, like, for every game I get to play, because you never know, like, when it's going to be your last time, you know. So in my eyes, it's like every game is really the same as my freshman year to now, like, because you never know. So I just put my heart on the field every play, every snap.
You know, everybody in this room and everybody in Eagle Nation has watched you for these last 5 years, not just the player that you become, but the man that you've become. It's been a pleasure. Show out on Saturday, show out the rest of the year, and we'll do it again.
Thank you.
Fifth-year senior Khaleb Hood, he is awesome. Coach Helton comes back up for one more segment. We'll talk all about Coastal. We come back on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Wild Wing, I think I love you.
Hey, Eagle Nation, this is Terry Harvin from the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro is your true blue home for hot wings, cold beer, and good times. Owned and operated by a proud Georgia Southern grad, Wild Wing Cafe is the official home of Hail Southern Live, the Eagles' weekly sports show every Monday night starting at 7 p.m. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, catering, or takeouts, you'll say the same thing I do every time. Wild Wing, I think I love you. Go Eagles and go Wild Wing.
Did you know that Yancey Rents is a Georgia-owned rental company serving Georgia since 1914? Yancey Rents has excavators, dozers, backhoe loaders, small dump trucks, water trucks, concrete saws, light towers, scissor lifts, and so much more. We've got a huge selection of equipment ready to be rented today. Call 844-YNC-RENT or check us out at yanceyrents.com. With 16 locations around the state and a new expanded lineup of equipment ready to be rented right now, Yancey Rents wants to be your preferred rental supplier in Georgia.
Eagle Nation, we'd love to see you back at Paulson, this time for back-to-back games in 6 days. Join us for homecoming versus ULM, 2 p.m. Saturday the 21st, then Thursday the 26th at 7:30 as the Eagles battle Georgia State. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Watch the blue and white inside the prettiest little stadium in America. That's ULM for homecoming Saturday the 21st at 2 p.m., then Georgia State Thursday the 26th at 7:30. gseagles.com/tickets to get yours or call 1-800-GSU-WINS.
Aw, shucks. The game's on TV, but I can't listen to the call of my favorite team broadcasters.
Never fear. Sync My Game is here.
Sync My Game?
Yes, Sync My Game. If you have a DVR and streaming device, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield. It's never been easier to hear the impassioned voices of your favorite radio crew synced with the TV.
Wow, thank you, Mr.
Just remember, syncmygame.com.
The Eagles fly here.
Intercepted. It's picked off. Kadri Jackson to the 30. He outruns Bradley to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. How about that on the second play? Wings up, Eagle Nation. Touchdown, Georgia Southern.
Hail Hail Southern and GATA all season long.
He got it! He caught it! A lightning bolt, 79 yards to the Jets!
On the Georgia Southern Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey y'all, this is Michael Felder, co-host of College Sports Now. We're breaking down all the action from around the country every week with new episodes dropping 4 days a week during the football season. We'll look beyond the box score and keep our finger on the pulse of college football from September all the way through the national championship game in January. Listen all season long on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you love to get your favorite podcast. And be sure to follow along on Twitter at CSNowTweets.
This is Hail Southern Live, powered by Learfield, live at Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Here's Danny Reed.
Just a few minutes left in this week's edition of Hail Southern Live as we preview those Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, 7 o'clock on Saturday night on the NFL Network, but we know at least 25,000 or so are going to be inside Paulson Stadium. We are live at 5 with the Cutwater Spirits Tailgate Show. Big Frank Kyle, Frank Whitney, and all others will be involved as Georgia Southern tries to get a Sun Belt Conference opening victory against those Chanticleers, which will come to town 2-2 and 0-1 in league play. Coach, before we dive into Coastal, Khaleb Hood is not just a great football player, but maybe as thoughtful and as genuine a guy that I've ever come across.
Yeah, you talk about toughness, discipline, being a great teammate, being a great person, student, being a graduate of this university. They don't come any better than Khaleb Hood.
When you got the C on your chest, it means something.
Yeah, definitely. There's a reason it's on there for it, and that's not a coach's vote. That's your teammates' vote, your peers' vote, and that's why it makes it so special. There's 129 men in that room that feel that you're the leader of this football team, and he's been the example of what an Eagle should be, not only for this year but several years.
I know the Coastal Carolina is just 2-2. They're 0-1 in conference play, but 10 is still taking the snaps, so that means that they've got a chance.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's a reason that they were the Eastern Conference champs last year.
Yeah.
Reason they played for the conference championship, and it starts with Grayson.
Absolutely.
He's the best player in this conference. He's proved that year in, year out, and he's coming to Statesboro. And so we've got to do a great job, I think, under Tim Beck and Travis Trickett. He's even improved even more as a passer. He's the number 2 passer in the league right now.
Yep.
And you see him being able to spread the balls around to guys like Sam Pinckney and crew. He is a force to be reckoned with, and every piece of our success to have it has to start with trying to slow him down just enough to outscore.
With what this game could potentially represent, we'll take a question from Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. Clay asks, with a mature team, an improved defense, and a veteran QB presence, do you feel like a Sun Belt championship is possible this year?
Well, that's always the goal. Each and every year, that's our expectation. That's our standard. And we're in a better place this year than we were last year. We did some really special things. We needed another recruiting cycle. We needed some more maturity, and we needed to play better defense, and we're there. We've positioned ourselves. Now we have to be consistent in our production and consistent in our play, and that's our challenge. You know, to take last game and to win all 3 phases, that's what it takes in this league. This is the premier Group of 5 league in the country. You see, week in, year out, Sun Belt teams are beating Power 5 teams, competing with anybody in the country. So you have to bring your A game to every game, every conference game, and it's hard. It's hard to win college football games, especially, you know, that you come to Statesboro, Georgia, that's a hard place to play. Well, it's a hard place to play in Boone, North Carolina, too, and up at Marshall and up at JMU. You have to have a toughness about you, and you have to have a mental discipline to go do your job in some of the hardest places to play, not only in our conference, but in the country, you know. And so we get that honor this week of hosting a really good football game.
There's a reason why Paulson Stadium has the 4th best winning percentage in the history of the FBS.
Yeah, no question. It's the power of Paulson is real. And I heard about it when I first came here. I've witnessed it now, you know, for a year and a half, and I can tell you it is a real thing. Our players feel it. I just see their eyes. You can always 18 to 21-year-olds cannot hide emotion, and when they look in your eyes, you can tell. And when we're at home and it is packed and the electricity is flowing, it's different. It just is. And I beg and plead every great Eagle that has GATA in their heart to get their butt to Paulson Stadium and be loud.
I asked Caleb this question, and I know you've got to worry about your team, you've got to coach ball, but when you're at Paulson, you see fans in stands, and you get that feeling that's very tough to describe. Can you try to describe it for us, what that's like?
You're representing something that's bigger than yourself. You're representing a tradition of excellence that spanned over 40 years, 6 national championships. You're representing a community of people that truly are invested in your program. So you're not just winning for yourself, you're winning for a community that truly loves what you're doing. And when you do that, you feel that responsibility to go out and to perform, and not only perform, but to perform at the tradition of excellence that has been laid by the foundation of players that have been before us and the coaches that have been before us. And we get that honor to step in that ring and go represent something that's so much bigger than us. And our players know that. They're honored to be able to do it. And Saturday, to represent our community, our university, our alumni, our fans, our students, man, that's an honor, and we look forward to that honor this Saturday.
We're going to kick it off at 7 o'clock on Saturday night. 5 o'clock is the airtime for the Cutwater Spirits tailgate show for the Eagles and the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Quickly with Coastal's defense, they did some different things in that Georgia State game, but this is a scheme that you're quite familiar with. Coach Niver and you worked together for 2 years out at Southern Cal. How does that give you an advanced look at what they could do to you guys on Saturday?
Yeah, Craig's a good friend and an excellent football coach. A reason that, Coastal Carolina hired him. He's ultra aggressive, has learned under Todd Orlando, who's one of the better DCs in the country. They bring it from everywhere: field, boundary, interior pressure, hide coverages. The try to fool quarterbacks, try to affect your quarterback through pressure. And we're going to have to do a great job of handling that pressure and supporting Davis with a run game, and be able to be efficient in the run game, so it's not just all on his shoulders, but create that balance like we did in last game and be able to help him down the stretch.
One more thing, in regards to the way the defense is paired with this offense, you had visions of what a Brandon Bailey defense was going to do to get the ball back to your offense quickly. Through 4 games this season, defense has faced 48 actual drives when you take out the end of half and end of games. They forced 19 3-and-outs. That's almost a 40% clip of not being on the field long and getting the ball back to the offense. How much more has that meant to rhythm and flow and confidence?
Yeah, we talked about at the beginning of the year that we really hope that upgrading personnel, deeper personnel, as well as how well they fit Brandon's system, that we were going to be able to get those 3-and-outs, be a great third down efficiency team, the ability to get turnovers like you've seen in our 3 wins. Yeah. That's been the MO, and that's created separation with our offense. Our offense is putting up the same numbers. They're number 1 in the league right now. Davis has the exact same passing yards. I can't believe it, as Kyle.
Oh, that's amazing.
But the difference right now is our defense, and they're helping us create separation from our opponents.
Coach, thanks so much for being here tonight. Best of luck getting to 4-1 on Saturday and getting number 212 inside the prettiest little stadium in America.
Thank you, Danny. Hail Southern.
Let's hear it for 25, 735 plus a couple. Georgia Southern and Coastal, 7 o'clock on Saturday night. Be there. For Khaleb Hood, for Rodney Hennon, Chris Affolter back in our studios, and Coach Helton. Danny Reed signing off from Wild Wing Cafe. If you need tickets, come by and see me before you leave. Otherwise, Paulson Stadium Saturday night. Georgia Southern and Coastal on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
On the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield, presented by Morris Bank. You've been listening to Hail